Sorry for all the noise. It's as per usual. It's loud in our building, so just have to kind of grin and bear it. When I draw these portraits, I typically have one AirPod in so I can listen to music, or sometimes I'll have a show on in the background or a movie. I never really know if I'm going to talk or if I'm just going to draw in silence, but typically when it gets loud around our building, I'll prefer to talk because I'd rather you hear me talk than everybody slamming stuff around. And I do want this to be a place for art and conversations. I'll be honest, I have had an interesting few days, so I feel pretty worn out. Lots of ups and downs right now. But despite that, I am trying to just stay with drawing, so I have some constants going on. Sort of exercise and discipline and dedication. But sometimes it's not easy. Honestly, right now I'd rather be asleep. But I feel like I owe it to myself to stick to the process. But yeah, I had, one of those kind of 50-50 days where part of the day was pretty alright, and then the other part of the day was pretty defeating. So, just trying to focus on the things I can control and I can draw, so I should draw. I guess also for anyone out there that's having a shitty day, I'm right there with you. If the video wouldn't get flagged, I'd share what I'm listening to, but for now, just have to settle for what you can hear. Without getting into the details too much, I think it's kind of appropriate. A lot of the time when I draw these, I don't have the Big Lebowski playing in the background. I'm not listening to the soundtrack. This is one I'm doing just because I love the movie and the filmmakers, and Jeff Bridges he is the dude. But a lot of the times what I'm drawing is relatively juxtaposed to what I am listening to or watching or feeling, which is more where I am right now. But for anyone that deals with, like stress or a lot of pressure, compression and anything like that. It's good to focus on things you can control. And good, bad, or ugly, drawing is a nice way to let your brain sort of check out, go into idle mode. And even as I talk, I'm rambling a little bit, but I am just sort of thinking of the day, highs and lows, what I could have done better. If anyone has already questions, I'm happy to answer, but otherwise I might just kind of do my thing. I feel like today was one of those days where I was walking in water a little bit. Started out low energy and then surprisingly, honestly, at my day job, it was one of the nicer parts of my day. Talked to a lot of nice people. Helped a lot of people with all kinds of stuff. Inspired a few folks to start journaling and drawing. It's not often you can do that and also get paid, so that was nice. But despite my best efforts, some things could have been better. Some things are just not in my control. And hence the drawing, because the drawing is within my control. Both the quality and, you know, the image, everything. It is Saturday night, so I expect the stream to be pretty low attendance. But as per usual, these are usually just for me and whoever else cares to tag along. Kind of had one of those days where everything seemed to be like sailing along, working out well, going smooth. And then just, I don't know, caught a snag, wheel bite, or whatever you want to call it. But can't win them all. regards to the drawing. Getting to the point where it's not quite finished, but it's getting there. I titled this video Drawing the Dude and More because I wasn't sure if I would finish the drawing and start another one. But I think what I'll probably do is finish this one, show you the other ones in this series, and then probably call it a night. Which I still got a ways to go, but just kind of laying out my intent here. Well, as the viewer count doesn't seem to be changing, I guess I'll just keep talking. Usually it either boosts people or chases them off. And honestly, either is fine. In the spirit of what I said earlier, I can't control that either. At this point in the drawing, I'm basically looking for a contrast value and final details. As an example, this is too contrasted compared to its surrounding areas. So rather than lifting that out, I'm going to blend the rest because this is the side that's not interacting with the light in the reference photo. Some accidental wisdom. This is the side not interacting with the light. Should be a metaphor for parts of my day. Guess there's something to that. Actually, multiple times this week, I've had people thank you for, or thank me for imparting knowledge or wisdom while I'm just kind of casually talking at my job. But outside of work, that can be harder to do, and personal dynamics and all. So I guess the spectator often sees more of the game. So being on the field, as it were, is not always the easiest to be the best one. I guess more so due to my age and location, and having relocated in my 30s, realizing that actual friends are pretty few and far between these days. And I have often told myself it's because I have high standards, but I think that's just the reality. Or, you know, like what they say, if you can't find the asshole in the room, you're probably the guy. You might be him. Hopefully that's not the case. But I'm starting to find that rambling alone in these live streams is most of the talking I do outside of work. I think I'm at the point now in his hair. What I'm going to do is just kind of a general contour layer with a larger nib. This is a 0.5. Just to wash out all the white parts, and then I'll go back in and add the sort of lifting details in there. It's a little tricky because he's sort of like a dirty blonde in this, and just drawing in graphite, but you'll see what I mean. Some of the shape that's missing as well. essentially what I'm doing, I'm just going to kind of wash out all these white parts here because they're a little bit too bright to imply that it's interacting with light. And then I will go back in with a smaller graphite and add darker details to give a little bit more contrast and directional texture of the hair. And then if you really want to in these, you can also take a mono zero eraser, cut the edge so it's a little bit finer, and add individual highlights. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I kind of just like them a little bit more contrasted. And unlike the rest of my drawings, this is the only place where I'm not doing actual circular motions. Just kind of going back and forth since most of the directional texture is already laid in. Normally I wouldn't really get into any of this stuff that I've been talking about, not the art stuff, but what I was mentioning earlier. But I'll be honest, I haven't had the best week, and still just trying to live stream every day just to kind of have like a regulatory forced downtime for creativity. Sort of a mental workout. I've had a couple of good days this week, but some heavy challenges coming my way. A lot of big changes coming up, so it's a big part of why I'm just kind of forcing myself to draw, even though I don't feel like it necessarily. I also think it's kind of important in general in these types of deals to just be honest. And honestly, it's not been all sunshine and puppies this week. I wish it were. I'd be happy to report otherwise. But with anything creative, journaling, writing, drawing, painting, singing, playing music, it's kind of necessary to get some stuff out, you know, catharsis. Starting to notice a common trend in a lot of the characters that I like is that they have like incredibly solid best friends or like a tight-knit group. With the dude, he's got Walter and Donnie. So I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I've drawn. But just in general, also the shows and the movies I gravitate towards, like Doctor Who has been one of my all-time favorites. Which is a good one. Maybe I should draw the Doctors. But famously travels with a companion. Sometimes multiple companions. That's something I've related to. I was like an ex-touring musician, always wanting a crew. Or like one of my favorite movies is Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and he's got his actual crew. One of the best dogs I ever had, her name was Zissou. but I don't really gravitate towards stuff like that. Maybe I should start drawing groups like that. Full scenes. Getting there. You might be seeing a little bit of a glare from the lights on the graphite, but in person it's a little bit more contrasted in his hair. I'll go back and do a little bit more of this block shading in his face. To be honest, my eyes might have been bigger than my stomach on this one. I'm already kind of worn out from the shitty day. I think with something like this, if I don't finish it here, I'll just finish it and post a time lapse of all the footage I've got of it. And then on to the next one. Not that anybody's listening, but I guess just the week, the day, it's been wearing on me a little bit, so this might be one of those ones where I call it before the hour. Appreciate anyone who is watching, and anyone who watches in the future. Alright, let me go ahead and call that one done. There's with all these, there's always a little more that I could do, but I've put quite a bit of time into the dude. So what I'll do, I'll just show you some of the other ones from this series, and then I'm going to call it a night, but I'll be back on tomorrow to start a new one. So this is the one I just finished. That's Jeff Bridges from The Big Lebowski, the dude. That's young Tom Petty. It's Jimi Hendrix. It's Willie Nelson. It's Daniel Day-Lewis. Owen Wilson. John Bernthal. Christian Bale. It's Brad Pitt. It's Johnny Depp. Josh Brolin. Joaquin Phoenix. And Tom Hardy. And then, let's see. Jack Nicholson. So that's everyone in the series of drawings that I've done in A4 so far, which is like the larger full page. And then you can kind of see, this is my A4 portfolio. It's Paper Republic. It's got my initials here. And just because I haven't gone through them in a while, I'll show you. So I've got 3 of these in this color in different sizes. This is my A5. This one rides around in my bag all the time, so it's pretty scuffed up. But similar drawings in this. It's Christopher Hitchens. It's Ethan Hawke as Lee Raybon from The Lowdown, which I saw just got approved for a 2nd season, which was cool. It's the late, great Anthony Bourdain. It's Nick Frost. Simon Pegg. It's Walt Whitman. Edgar Allan Poe. See, Robin Williams. That's me. There's Albert Einstein. Still really never finished this one. It was kind of one of those ones I started as an experiment to see how people liked the horizontal stream, because I've got the reference taped in here, but eventually I'll go back and touch this one up. And this one, I've got like little sketches. Like this is done with this Paper Republic Stilo pen. Just a little scribble method. And did a few of these. These are all self-portraits. The same method with the same scribble pen, or the Stilo pen. Yeah, so that's mostly what's in my A5. And then this is my Pocket series, and this one, it's seen some stuff. It's been through a lot. But this book is pretty much done. I've got some extra pages clipped into it because it's still hanging in there, but I've got David Lynch. This is a scene that I'm working on for a family friend. And then these are all just loose drawings that I haven't finished yet. So they're a little bit more faint. But this is a family friend. It's Rodney Mullen, Willie Nelson, Harry Dean Stanton, Peter McKinnon, Sierra Farrell, Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd, Ari Matty, Scroobius Pip, Michael Fassbender, Gary Oldman, another Brad Pitt. Got a couple duplicates because I like to reuse some of the photos that I like. It's a Kerouac. I was actually showing this to someone a while ago at work, and they dragged their finger across it and gave them a nice scuff. I just kind of left it. It's Dean Cassidy, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Ansel Adams, James Baldwin, Kendrick Lamar. It's Anthony Bourdain again, John Bernthal again. It's a young Bob Dylan. It's a young Jim Marshall. It's Joaquin Phoenix from Inherent Vice. It's Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. Bill Murray. It's an unfinished Frank Sinatra. Sometimes I go back and mess with these. It's an unfinished Val Kilmer. It's another Jeff Bridges, the dude, during his whole dream sequence. That's a family member. This one's a rough James Dean I never really finished. I'm really not a big fan of Bukowski, but I like that photo. I've drawn it a couple times, once in Scribble Method and then once in pencil. There's another Johnny Depp, smaller size of the same reference photo. And then Nick Frost and Simon Pegg yet again. There's one of the doctors. If I'm not mistaken, it's not Hartnell. I think that's Pertwee. I'm starting to get to the point where I don't remember them all like I once did. It's Christopher Hitchens again. And then Sitting Bull. And in this book I have like little bits and pieces of scribble art and things like that. So that one's one that I'm not quite finished with. And then a little scribble art self-portrait, which I've done partially with the Paper Republic Listilo pen and this Kaweco brass special ballpoint that's got the same refill, just a heavier grip. There's another sort of messy Harry Dean Stanton. It's an unfinished Leo from One Battle After Another. There's Walt Whitman again. I've drawn him a few times. There's a chimp. And then unfinished lion. That's about all I've got right now. Even I've got stacks of these books, but that's everything that's going at the moment. So anyway, this is the Paper Republic Pocket. It's a Grand Voyager. It's got right now 5 books in one pocket with a pen loop on it. And then these are all the same color. It's just different times. This is the A5 Paper Republic portfolio. This one has 4 books and a pen loop with a pen on it. Things in the pockets. And then the large one that you see me drawing in the most is my A4, which this one doesn't really leave my desk a whole lot anymore. So I'm mainly focused on doing portraits in this. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. I'll be back on tomorrow night. I am going to start a new portrait tomorrow, so if you have any suggestions, you can comment and I'll take a look. If they overlap with some of my interests, then I might consider them. I've got like a list of portrait references here, but sometimes I'll take new suggestions, so throw it out there if you want. Right, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.